Everyone. I wasn't planning on doing a live stream today, but I have a message for all of you that I think is going to be not only just extremely useful, but I think some people's morality is about to get really checked really hard. So it is 1:19 my time, which is Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast, and I just came home from daily mass. So for everyone's, if anybody, like, I have a lot of new followers. Like, for people that don't know me, I am a devout Catholic. I go to church every single week. Specifically, actually, I try to go to daily mass like once a week, honestly. I think it's a good thing. There's an app that I'm gonna drop down in the comments for you guys that I have on my phone. I don't know if it's on the Play Store, but it's called Mass Times. And it is a really good app to It's a really good app to find a church. One, if you don't know where all your new churches are, like, let's just say you you just moved somewhere and you don't know where your local church is. It's great. I'm dropping it down in the comments for you guys right now, actually. That way it's top of mind. Masstimes.org. Okay. Mass Times. All right, so I just posted that for you guys. You guys should go check that out. And when I was there, I had to go to the bathroom. And inside that bathroom is like the pull tabs with the number, right? Like, let's just say you run a business, right? Which I know a lot of you do. I would say probably all my followers are 95% business owners. So there are pull tabs, right, with numbers. Like, let's say maybe you run a landscaping business or whatever. But except it wasn't for a business this time around. It was for someone you might know that is being abused or someone is being abused. And that put me in a perspective of this today. I am so hard with what I say, or that may make me sound angry, because unfortunately, we live in a world where it's totally fine for people to literally act like dickheads. And I'm sorry that most people think that I'm being too harsh or I'm angry or whatever name you want to call me. I've been called almost every single name in the book, so nothing hurts my feelings anymore. Okay? But I will tell you this. You have no idea who is hurting. You have no idea who is hurting. You have no idea who's suffering quietly. So you better watch your fucking mouth on what you say to people. Almost every single number on that sheet of paper was ripped off. Except, like, I think 3 that I saw. See, I've had people come on calls to me and just automatically call me angry without even knowing me. It's so easy to judge people when you barely know someone or know the posture / character of their own hearts. You know what? You're lucky that someone hasn't really done that to you yet. Not that I'm asking you not to do it. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Nothing bothers me anymore. But let me tell you something. You do this to somebody else, someone else is going to give you the finger straight to your face, dude. Okay? I even noticed it. Like, I was tracing my conversations today, too. And I saw that I sent somebody a DM with a screenshot of I fired this person, and was basically like, hey, I don't know why you're like looking at my LinkedIn when all you did was call me angry after a specific event happened. I'm not going to go into specific details. But he blocked me, which shows me more about the posture of a lot of people's hearts than it does about mine, because I don't play games and I'm not a child. Okay? And a lot of people are, unfortunately. So, my question to you all today, especially as it is a beautiful afternoon on a Friday, number 1, how do we change people to not act like children? Number 2, what do we do about people hurting? I'll start with the second question first before I address the first one, because I think it'll make a lot more sense. Number one, when you are hurting, number one, I want anybody listening to me who's hurting right now, okay? Whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you might be battling in private, first of all, you're stronger than you think you are, okay? I proved that to myself this year. When I had to walk away from my own family, I didn't realize in the process of me walking away, I would become this version of me that gets on live streams and talks to people straight to your face every freaking day, write a book, make a podcast, put a good message out there, make messages actually work for people. I didn't expect any of this. Okay? So when we are crafting messages to put out into the world, you have to keep in perspective that someone is hurting and you have an obligation to be a light in a world full of darkness. And for the person that is watching this, that is hurting, is going through something in their private, I do see you and I am proud of you, because it takes a lot of fucking strength every single day to get back up and keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again and see no fucking results. I don't think a lot of people get enough credit for surviving things that would have broken them. And like everyone just easily comments like, "Oh, she's angry." No, I'm not angry. I think a lot of people, they make that shitty ass fucking remark because a lot of people don't understand anger versus passion. And quite frankly, that's a very low level insult for someone who's really unintelligent. Okay, that's low IQ bullshit. Sorry. And by the way, if you're saying that to people, or if you think that I am that way, I would suggest you open up my book and go buy it and see how emotionally intelligent I actually am. Because what I did in this book is I called out situations and circumstances that are currently going on that are affecting not just my generation, but everyone as a fucking whole. What I did was hold mirrors up to people and address things that are hurting people along with degrading society as we know it. So I don't think I'm the problem. I think a lot of people can't stand me because of the fact that I will do what no one else was willing to do, is tell you the fucking truth. I write in the book this, actually, that telling people your version of the truth, which is most likely the truth as we know it, will cost you something. It always if you sit here and you think that it will not cost you something, I don't know what to tell you, because I promise you it will inadvertently cost you something. And I would argue 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to cost you being casted out. Because in a world full of fake and semantics, soft truth does not work. Your truth versus this person's truth versus this person's truth is fucking dumb. Okay? Dumb. Let me tell you something about the truth. I have found that the best thing about the truth is this: serving it ice cold. Not when it's convenient for someone, not when it's nice, not when it's gentle. No. Serve the truth ice cold. Because let me tell you something. It is easier to do that versus lie to someone, which is the soft truth, unfortunately. And it's not the society that I created, it's what a lot of people accepted. If you really think about it, corporate culture basically teaches you have to be politically correct. That fucking term just inadvertently just pisses me off half the time. Why though? Because we have to be soft and we have to worry about people's feelings. To a degree, yes. You're not gonna be a boss and just say you are a fucking piece of shit. Like, good luck with employment lawyers, okay? Everyone is so happy or so eager to sue. However, what you're not going to do is do that and then think you're like on top of the world over here. I don't think so. It doesn't necessarily work like that. But what we can do as human beings is try to make the world a better place for everybody to coexist in. That might sometimes be telling people the truth the way that they don't expect it to hear it, or they don't want to hear it. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't want shit. Okay? They want what they want, and that's it. It's called being selfish. Okay? But unfortunately, for a lot of people, life doesn't work like that. If you haven't figured that out yet. Everyone would always say to me, Sarah's a realist. I for sure am. I for sure am a realist. Because I didn't grow up with a choice to not be a realist, unfortunately. A lot of this was I had to grow up very fast, and I had to be somebody that was worth noticing. Because, like I said, in a world that's fake and perceptive, or perceptive to whatever perception of reality that you're subscribing to, it sucks to constantly put up semantics for people. And when I saw that in the bathroom today, I honestly understood something. Someone can say that they are fine and not be fine. Okay? And I understand why this church did it in the bathroom instead of just putting on like the pin board the way it is in that specific church. Because sometimes the churches don't have like something that you can pin to the board. Depends on what parish you go to, honestly. But when I saw that, I was like, fuck, man. You know, everyone's so obsessed on LinkedIn writing their point of view instead of actually saying, like, hey, like, here's the commonality in humanity that we need to get back to. And I think for almost 10 months, I've been doing this. I have built an audience surrounding this. Because I do not want my kids suffering in the same fucking world that we all live in. And it takes a lot of courage for someone like me to call this out and say, this is wrong. And if you want something to change, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That requires you dropping your ego and you saying, hey, I agree with her. This is wrong. What are we going to do about this? Do you honestly think it's fair for Gen Alpha to come into the workplace within the next 15 years and say, yep, you know what? I'm going to inherit this fucked up system and not do a damn thing about it? No. No, I don't necessarily think that's fair for them. Because I know it's not fair for my generation, right? I actually argue in the book that each generation inherits a system that they didn't consciously choose. Okay? I think I wrote that in chapter 1 if I'm not mistaken. And the problem with that is everybody says they want to make the world a better place, but who the fuck actually does it? Because in order to do something like that, it requires you to drop something. It requires you to cut something. It will cost you something. Okay? And people are not okay with that. Just like admitting that you're being abused the way I have costed me something. It costed me my own fear of being vulnerable, which I was not taught. But it cost me to understand that my story will help others not die. Because I have been suicidal. I don't hide that for anybody. Okay? Been suicidal 4 times in my life. And my story, me telling it, will actually save somebody's life. And say, she's been through it. And that's where we are in humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, this life is more than you running an entire fucking business that surrounds around your ego. And if you don't realize that yet, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I got to this point too early on in life, or maybe I'm calling out the things that maybe don't make a lot of money. You know what? I actually wrote this the other day, I think. If I never make another dime in my life, let me tell you something. At least someone like me will be remembered because I didn't have my head shoved up my ass when someone was hurting. I called out the things that were wrong. At least I held a mirror back at people and said, this is what you're doing to somebody else. Regardless of whether or not you like my interpretation or you like my perspective, I will show you what you're doing and how this is affecting other people. And I think the biggest thing and I would argue is this. Unfortunately, the older generation thinks that you have to be respected because you're an elder. Respect is earned, not given. And guess what? If you are young and you are listening to me right here, right now, let me tell you something. Just because they are older than you does not mean they earn your respect. Okay? They have to earn that first. You don't have to give out your respect to somebody just because they're older than you. And I don't give a fuck what publication they've been in. Netflix, Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, CBS, ABC, whatever the case may be. If they are not going to treat you with the dignity and respect that you deserve, they don't add any value in your life. You should probably just wipe them off out of your fucking Rolodex of people. Respect is earned, not given. And parents, if you are listening to me, you better start teaching your kids this. Do you really want people or your kids to go down the same fate that half of you did? I'm sure that I know probably about a quarter of my following on LinkedIn probably has worked for corporate at some point in their life, regardless of how many years, okay, you all worked for corporate. But think about your time that you spent in corporate, okay? Did you enjoy your time being treated like a doormat? Because all of you guys have come to me privately and being like, I fucking hated it and I lost sight of who I really was. Or do you want to make sure your kids enter a workplace that's much better than when you walked into it? That's the question you all should be asking yourselves. Because guess what? The reason why Gen Z is leaving traditional 9-to-5s is because of that. And you guys are getting mad. For what? Because they recognized in a dysfunctional workplace faster than you did? I'm actually kind of proud. It's because we are the first generation that said, nah, fuck this. We're not going to tolerate this. It takes courage. Instead of condemning or chastising Generation Z, you might want to be giving us an applaud because guess what? We're holding a mirror back at people and saying, this is what you're doing. Either you can respect it and learn from it, and we can make a more cohesive society to coexist in, or you can continue the same bullshit and not have a team at all. Okay? Because there is no gray area in this with my generation, which I'm very proud. Very proud. Because you know what? This will change work culture forever as we know it. Do I think people should be going to the office? Yes and no. It really depends on what kind of business it is or who's running it. I don't think it adds a lot of value, honestly. I think that workplace culture is kind of trash anyway. I write about that in the book. But realistically, the young generation has the balls to at least say something that it sucks. Just like when they're being abused at work, when they tell you something or your kids are telling you something saying, hey, mom, dad, listen, like this is what's going on at work. I don't know how to handle this. Do not be that person that says, put up with it like you did. Why do you want your kids to suffer the same fate that you all did? For what reason? It must suck to watch your kids go through the same fate that you all did. I, as a parent, would not be proud. We are supposed to be elevating the next generation versus condemning them or making them suffer the same fucking fate. And then it really comes down to teaching the young generation what the signs are of them being manipulated or abused, or teaching anyone the signs of what it actually looks like. Emotional, psychological, physical, verbal, whatever the case may be. We have an obligation to condemn this and change it for the better. And I don't care how much that's going to cost you. Because the only reason why this cycle of dysfunction and toxicity continues is because someone's not willing to call it out for what it is. I don't know what else to tell you guys. But if you are a parent today and you are watching this, or you watch this later, whenever you are watching this, teach your kids that it's not fine to tolerate disrespect. Okay? It's not. It's not healthy. It damages their nervous system. And actually, one of the greatest people I've honestly met throughout my journey of entrepreneurship is a life coach who showed me a brain scan of what it's like when someone's I think someone's nervous system goes into shock, if I'm not mistaken. Shock of what it's like when you lose sight of who you really are, or your neurons don't turn on the way they used to because your brain is being damaged by toxicity and dysfunction, versus what a healthy brain activity looks like. Okay, when you are emotionally, spiritually safe, and physically safe, versus in a situation that is toxic and not good for your overall well-being. If anyone is young and watching me, I am going to tell you this. If your employer is making you stay late without paying you, that is illegal, number one. Number two, if someone is manipulating the truth when you know it's not, you need to leave. You need to file a report with HR and you need to leave. And I know leaving is difficult and I know it's scary. And this is easier said than done. Trust me, I get it. I've done this. Okay? But it might single-handedly be the best decision you ever make. And I am telling all the parents here, stop encouraging your kids to suffer through what you suffer through. Because you're not doing any favors as a parent. I'm not a parent yet. Not blessed with my own kids yet. But let me tell you something. When I do have my own kids, they ain't falling for the same bullshit that I did. Or the same bullshit my parents did. I'd be damned if I did. So not only do I practice what I preach, I actually will do what I said. You don't have to keep encouraging toxicity for it to consistently keep derailing everybody. We talk about consciousness, we talk about people awakening, we talk about people coming to know themselves. How do we get people to know themselves? When they recognize the signs of dysfunction. It's how we get people to wake up. Over people sitting there and being like, yep, you should tolerate that. No. No more tolerating bad shit. No more tolerating dysfunction anymore from either a personal standpoint or in the workplace. No more. You have an obligation as an adult to call out the things that you see wrong. It can't just be me. It will cost you something. That I can promise you. I would rather be this version of me every day for the rest of my life over being the person that makes someone else suffer or lose themselves, or worse, doubt their potential, like I did. When I saw those numbers gone today, I realized it's because of the fact that no one has the courage to speak up when they see something wrong. I'm not afraid of talking about hard things. Because I know one of these live streams might save someone's fucking life from thinking they're not good enough, like I did. Like many people probably did when you all followed me. It broke my heart to see that today. Biggest takeaways, number one, be kind to someone. It doesn't cost you a thing, okay? It doesn't cost you a thing to be straight up and honest and friendly and be kind to someone. And if you're calling people names when you barely know them, you should probably stop, because that hurts your reputation. And guess what? I have one of the biggest lists right now of who I'm not going to recommend people's businesses. I know almost what exactly you all do. I've researched your guys' profiles. There are lists of people I would never recommend to do business with. Don't be that person. Be kind, be ethical, be moral, and do something today that you're going to look back on 30 years from now and be proud of. 20 years from now, 10 years from now, do something meaningful for someone. Do something that makes people smile again. In a world full of people that are fucking fake and performative, do something that makes someone feel something again. Or makes someone feel alive. It makes them feel good about themselves. Because you know what? We have enough fucking hate in this world. I'm tired of seeing this. It doesn't cost you a thing to be kind to someone. And for all of my fucking haters out there, there's a nice button that says unfollow or disconnect from me. And guess what? I would really appreciate it if you just did it by yourselves, because I'm not going to notice anyway. Too focused, winning all the time. If you think I'm angry, I would highly suggest you disconnect from me. Maybe I'm angry because I see a world that's so fucking mediocre all the time and is hurting people. And we just continuously keep continuing this cycle of dysfunction with people. And no one gives a shit about anything other than themselves. And you expect the world to be more open and humble and honest with you, but you are not doing the exact same thing, which is hypocritical and contradictory. You cannot expect something anymore when you are not perpetuating the same thing. But for all the people that do watch the podcast, buy the book, read my posts, comment, send me DMs, I see all of you. I do. I am the only one that has control of my LinkedIn account. And so I am the one responding to you. And I thank you. Because people like you keep me going every fucking day. To keep getting on here and keep preaching the same thing over and over and over again until it literally makes someone be like, why the fuck is she doing this? Because I am tired of seeing people die from not knowing themselves, from not loving themselves enough, not knowing their value, especially when billionaire tech CEOs are trying to dictate someone's value to them right now. It fucking hurts to watch this. These are your kids not being able to get jobs. Do you not fucking care about them? Because if you don't, just put a hand up and say, yeah, you know what, Sarah? I don't fucking care. And you know what? I would respect you more because at least you're honest. But if you say you want to build a better generation for the one that you actually inherited and not do it, your word means shit. That's what it means. I think a lot of the times the best self-development books or business books in general could be, I would argue, a lot of them could actually be argued from the standpoint of and perspective of the Bible, which is a lot of what I wrote mine on, and not have it sound so preachy, but a lot of what I wrote I've either lived through or I've seen happen in real life. So, written from 100% experience, in correlation to what I read. So today, ladies and gentlemen, on a beautiful Friday afternoon, do something for someone that doesn't cost you a fucking thing and bring some light back into a world